Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling one of the most ambitious conceptual mergers I think we've ever come across.
The big one.
It is. The source material tries to synthesize the apocalyptic math of Daniel 12, the, vast cosmology of the Zohar, and then frames it all in the language of quantum mechanics.
Right. And our mission, really, is to see how these traditions use numbers to define a cosmic shift, with the wisdom of Rashbi Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai as our guide.
The sources lay this out almost like a coordinate system, don't they, with 3 axes?
Exactly. First, you got the x-axis. That's your timeline, the prophetic one. It's defined by Daniel 12's numbers, the 1290 and 1335 days. That's the clock ticking toward the end of the scattering.
Okay, so that's the when. What about the where, the spatial element?
That's our y-axis, the cosmological. It comes right from the Zohar's dimensions. This idea of 500 parasangs of vertical ascent and just a massive 600,000 parasangs of horizontal spread. It's mapping out a spiritual space.
And the third axis.
The z-axis. That's consciousness. This is where Rashbi's secret of wisdom comes in. The idea that spiritual reality exists in a kind of superposition, waiting for a conscious observer to collapse it into tikkun, into rectification.
So with that framework, the central metaphor here has to be the firmament acting as a kind of quantum field.
Yes, it all kicks off with a verse, Daniel 12.3. The wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. Now that word for brightness in Hebrew is Zohar.
The Zohar.
The Zohar. The text defines it not just as light, but as the Zohar field, the actual substrate of reality. You can think of it like the Higgs field, something that gives substantiality to spiritual light.
Okay, that's a huge concept. So what does that mean for a person? What's a consequence of this field?
The consequences on consciousness. The wise are those whose awareness becomes, for lack of a better word, entangled with this field. Their probabilistic existence, their wave function, collapses into pure illumination.
Because they're observing reality through this coherent field, not the static of exile. Let's get into the numbers then. Daniel's numbers seem to provide the coordinates for this phase transition, the 1290 days.
Right, which the sources link numerically to the 430 years of exile in Egypt. That 1290 represents the decoherent state, the state of galut or spiritual exile.
And 1335 is the redeemed, blessed state.
It is. And the difference there, the gap between them, is 45.
And 45 is key.
It's everything. The text suggests that 45 is the numerical value of the Hebrew word Adam, man. Human consciousness. It means the leap from one state to the other is precisely the measure of human choice.
So the numbers tell us what the leap is, but how does the system actually facilitate that specific leap of 45?
This is where the Zohar's dimensions come back in. That leap is triggered by the 500 parasangs, which represent the direct light of Bina, or understanding, descending into the system.
It's an infusion of energy.
An infusion of coherent light, or yashar, the direct light. And it forces the collapse of the exiled state into the redeemed one. The 600,000 parasangs. That's the collective wave function of everyone that has to be harmonized to receive it.
Which brings us to choice. If history is waiting on the wise, there has to be a mechanism for how to make that choice.
There is. The Zohar calls it the one radiation. Imagine a quantum superposition where all divine energies, white for mercy, red for judgment, green for balance, they all exist at once as pure potential.
Constantly in flux.
Exactly. And the wise are those who can consciously collapse that wave of potential into green, into tzedek righteousness, balance. And by doing that, the text says they turn many to that state. They entangle other wave functions in that redeemed reality.
So if we pull the lens all the way back, the entire arc of history is just a measurement and a collapse.
That's the model. The exile, the 1290, is a dim, probabilistic glow that doesn't really eliminate anything.
And the end.
The 1335 is the final universal collapse into a coherent, luminous state. And the promise is what the sources call quantum immortality. The righteous have their wave functions locked into that stable state of the brightness of the firmament forever.
So what this deep dive really offers you is a different kind of lens. Daniel gives us the temporal code, the timeline, but the Zohar gives you the conscious framework to access it. The transition from exile to redemption isn't just some future historical event. It's presented as a cosmic phase transition, mediated by consciousness. So the question this material really leaves you with is, if your consciousness shapes cosmic reality, what are you choosing to observe right now?